Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. This is David Pendleton, and I'm going to give you two different walkthroughs today on the Ventura Open on Rookie. I'll work on a pro video a little bit later, but on this one, you're going to see me play two different accounts. You're going to get my shots only to save time. The first playthrough is going to be for people that have developed clubs, and you want to play the course a little bit more aggressive. And the second playthrough will be for people who have underdeveloped clubs, taking much easier shots, but we're still going to show you how to qualify at the top of your leaderboard and how to chase down a gold banner no matter what clubs and balls you have at your disposal. Again, as always, I hope you find this video helpful. And if you do, please subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Thank you. So on this playthrough, again, we're going to go with the more aggressive path. And we shot minus 15 on this account. So let's start off here on hole number 1. So hole number 1 starts off with a par 4. And you can play this hole with really any ball that you want to, because making it to the green in 2 shots is going to be extremely simple. The only way that you wouldn't is if you really mess up and hit the ball out of bounds or something. It's just too easy to make the green in 2 shots. But, we're going aggressive on this account. We're going to chase down an easy gold banner. So I went with a berserker ball. And you're going to play this one at 10% elevation. You could also use like a kingmaker. I would probably go with a titan if you want to try to drive green. But regardless, here's what we're going for. We're going to put... You're going to see me adjust my clubs here. We're going to put our yellow ring right at the rough line there on the right-hand side. And we're just going to adjust for 10% elevation, which in this case was about 2.5 rings. You can see me going full overpower and taking my ball curl right outside the target line there. And we roll out of the rough onto the fairway. Sorry, out of the sand onto the fairway, which leaves us for our second shot, which is played at 0% elevation. And this is going to leave you with a very simple wedge chip in for an eagle. So the biggest key, is if you want to play aggressive, just to push that drive. Use yourself a power ball. Go with, full overpower. A ton of right curl. And you'll be able to get, onto the green. Or right here where I'm at. Just making it, a very simple shot for a very easy. So kind of get a leg up on the competition, because most people are going to birdie this hole for sure. And then hole number 2 is going to be our first par 3. You're going to play this one 20% elevation. And for me, I just use a navigator, something that gives you, a couple clicks of wind resistance. I play this one max backspin at full distance of my Goliath with 20% elevation. I basically use max backspin and I leave my ball guideline directly at the hole. You don't need any overpower, anything like that. Just take yourself a normal shot. And you see we're going to fall really close to the hole-in-one here.
Nice on.
So I just need to, adjust a little bit to the left side of the pin, and we'll be able to get that one dialed in by the finals. Hole number 3 takes us to our first par 5 of the tournament. And this is going to be your easiest opportunity at an albatross, and I'll explain to you why once we get to the second shot. But we're just going to use a navigator. Again, we don't need power on this one. We just like to get that wind resistance 2 ball out. And I'm going to use, about 3.5 bars of backspin, a little bit of left side spin. I put my yellow ring there on the rough line. Take a normal shot, with about a little bit like a fourth of a ball of left curl. Shot. And you might wonder why, I always say, I put my yellow ring on the rough line. I do that to find consistency. So that if I hit perfect, every single drive that I make is going to be somewhere right around that same yard mark and the same spot of the fairway, which allows me to dial in albatrosses and eagles as I progress through the tournament. But the biggest thing you want to know about shot number 2 on this hole is there's a funnel on the green, and a funnel means as long as you get within a certain area on the green, the ball will roll directly into the cup. So you're going to see me move my club around. You're going to see me adjust spin until I find the funnel. And I find the funnel here, at the end of the shot. And then I adjust this one with no elevation, but mid-distance of my sniper. So the key is to use backspin, and the key on this one is to use a little bit of right side spin, which I figure out as I try to find the funnel. But you can see I'm wiggling it there. And the ball guideline is not really going into the cup. And then, I recall that I need to use the right spin. So you see right there how I can move my target left to right, and the end tip doesn't really move that much. It stays going directly into the cup. That's what you want to find on this hole. And you're going to find it easiest with using left spin and back spin on your ball until you can just wiggle around and your ball guideline stays pretty steady. Hit your shot perfect, adjust the right amount of rings, and you're going to find yourself a really good albatross opportunity, which we're able to get on this one. Hole 4 is probably my least favorite hole in the tournament. I really suck at this par 3, but what I decided to do was use a grizzly and, again, a navigator just for the wind resistance. So I'm going to adjust this one at 10% elevation, and I'm going to adjust it at medium distance of my grizzly. If any of you guys have a better way to play this one on rookie, if you're getting close to the hole-in-one, or if you hit a hole-in-one and you think your hole-in-one is a consistent way to play it, please let me know. Because this one, I'm a little bit confused on at the moment. I've got a glitchy green. As you can see, my ball guideline's there, and then it disappears and is back. So I was kind of running out of time. But, I adjust this one at, like I said, again, 10% elevation, medium distance of the grizzly.
Perfect shot.
Hit the ball perfect. And I'm going to come in, well short of the pin. So this is not a good shot at all. But it is a simple birdie. You shouldn't have any problems. Don't play this one to the left-hand side like we're seeing a lot of people do. Play it directly straight at the pin like I did there. Which brings us on to hole number 5. So hole number 5, I'm going to show you right here. A lot of people are driving it this way. You don't need to drive it this way. I just did this for video purposes. You're going to see me back up and just take the much simpler drive right here by going fairway to fairway. So, you adjust this one with 10% elevation using a katana. For side spin purposes, go full left spin. A bar and a half, 2 bars of top spin would be just fine. The biggest key is you don't need to smash this drive. This is a very simple par 5 to reach the green in 2. So you'll see I just kind of lay up here. And, you don't want to hit it too far up because you don't want to get stuck behind those trees. I didn't even hit it 300 yards, and you're going to see that we have no problem reaching the green in 2. And we might even be able to drop the albatross with a little bit of luck as we move on to the final rounds. But this shot right here is with no elevation. Really just kind of use the ball guideline to get yourself pretty close to the pin. But, leaving it a little bit short because this green does roll fast. there is a pretty good slope in the middle of the green, which pushes you towards the pin. And that's kind of where I left my ball guideline at, is that slope. And you'll see that as the shot rolls in. I used a little bit of overpower. I'll probably change that moving forward.
Great shot.
And take the overpower away completely and just take a normal shot. But you can see here, a very simple approach. This is why you don't need to smash your drive. You can just take the layup drive so you make no mistakes. And just lay up right to the pin for a very, very simple eagle on this par 5. Hole number 6 is a par 4. You're going to play this one at 10% elevation. And I recommend you use a Titan. Don't use a Kingmaker because it'll lower the wind. And you want that little bit of a tailwind push on this hole. But basically, you're going to go full right spin. You're going to use, about 3.5 to 4 bars of backspin. And you just want to find this area right here where your ball guideline is on the green. So right there in that area. Adjust your shot with 10% elevation. And use, let's call it about half of a bar of right curl.
Perfect shot.
Hit your shot perfect. And you're going to be able to drive to the green, giving yourself an extra eagle on this par 4. And maybe with a little bit of luck, we'll find our way inside the cup and get a hole-in-one on a par 4. But, a very simple approach on this one. Very, very easy hole to drive the green and pick up the extra eagle. On to hole number 7, which you're going to play at 10% elevation. Use whatever long iron you're comfortable with. For me, it's the Goliath. I have a pretty good idea of how my Goliath rolls. So for this one, I found it to be a very simple approach to the pin. Using, about 3.5 bars of backspin. And I used a little bit of right spin here to make sure I didn't roll down this green. But this was my first, playthrough. So I've got some dial-in opportunity to get on this one. So I'll have to kind of study this hole because I do think this is one we can get a hole-in-one on. But anyways, 10% elevation. Use a navigator, again, just for the wind resistance. But you can play these par 3s with anything. If you don't want to waste a navigator, use a Marlin. Heck, use a basic ball. They're all pretty straightforward shots. And, they're all pretty easy to get right around the cup. It's just about getting it dialed in for the hole-in-one. So on to hole number 8. So hole number 8 is going to be played at 10% elevation on both shots. So shot 1 and shot 2, 10%. And one thing to know is this little strip of fairway here, it rolls fast. So make sure you use a healthy amount of backspin. So you can see here, I went with 2 bars of backspin, 4 bars of right spin. And you can see my ball guideline there is still in the middle of the fairway. I take just a normal shot.
Perfect shot.
Hit the ball perfect. And you'll see here, I came up way too close to where I wanted to be. I mean, it's a very good shot. But moving forward, I'm probably actually going to use 3 bars of backspin as I don't need the distance on the drive. I just want to make sure I don't roll into the top of the rough there. But this second shot does give you a pretty straightforward shot to the pin. It does give us a good opportunity here to pick up another eagle on a par 4. Now, I didn't make this one. I am going to adjust it 10%, somewhere between minimum and medium distance of my Goliath. Yeah, I'm pretty much aiming straight at the pin with using a little bit of backspin. Today was a good day. With hitting perfect, I hit the majority of the shots perfect, which is really nice because then that gives me the opportunity to see where I actually went wrong. So on this one, we might either offset and aim a little bit left of the pin or use a little bit left side spin. You know, I'm going to figure that out in the next rounds and figure out which is the best way to approach shot number 2. But that's a simple birdie, guys. Just remember that first shot that the ball rolls pretty good on that fairway. So use a healthy amount of backspin to calm down the ball. This is hole number 9. So the first shot is played at 10% elevation. All right. Now, the biggest thing to know is I played this one a little aggressive. I do use a quarterback. And just so you know, you're going to see me play this one, like I said, aggressive. And then the second walkthrough is going to be with lesser clubs. But I want you to know, on the drive, I purposely hit great left. I am not trying to hit perfect. I'm trying to hit great left. And you're going to see why. But here is how you want to set up. This is the only kingmaker that I'm using in the tournament. And this is really where you want to land at. So kind of take a look here. You're going to go, first of all, full left spin, you know, with about 3 bars of top spin. See me hanging out right around these trees? Well, we're going to adjust for 10% elevation. And you're going to see my ball guideline hits the trees. We're going to go with a ton of left curl. And we're going to purposely hit great left, which you have to be really careful on. You need to be very specific when you do this.
Great shot!
But hit great left, and you're going to get a nice hook around the bottom of these trees for a very good drive, okay? Now, if you're not comfortable with that, let me show you my opponent's drive, because this is how I thought about playing it. But I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, and I didn't want any flukes. But here is a way you can play this shot. You can actually go to the top of the trees here if you want, and let your ball hit the trees and fall into the fairway. So you can see his ball guideline is hitting the trees. You can see he's still going to hit the fairway. The only thing you want to do on this one is he's going to push the top spin. I don't recommend doing that. I would just recommend hitting a normal shot, because his ball guideline on normal shot was still falling into the fairway.
Perfect shot.
He uses full top spin and he uses overpower. He's just going to go way too far. So, you know, you don't need to do that. You can take his same shot and just hit the fairway. But I'm pretty comfortable with the quarterback shot on this hole. Now you can see whenever we made our drive, if you paid attention to the camera angle, our second shot is uphill. So you want to play this one minus 10% elevation. So we're going the opposite. We're going uphill instead of downhill. And use this left side of the fairway, of the green to your advantage. You know, let it hit this hill and fall back down towards the pin. You know, looking at this shot, what I should have done is take off that 1 bar of top spin and just played it with the right spin and just kept with a normal shot.
Perfect shot!
Because with the tailwind push here, I came in a little bit too hot and rolled through the green. So on the next playthrough, you're going to see me take off the top spin fully and maybe even use a little bit of backspin to get the ball to stick onto the green. But I don't need to show you the third shot. As you can see, I made it. Our opponent he didn't get the eagle, so we didn't go to a shootout. But regardless, that's a pretty aggressive path. And, you know, it ended us up at a minus 15, which is definitely going to qualify first. So that's how you play it aggressively with some developed clubs. And what we'll do is we'll hop over here to this other account. Now this account, I actually played first. So I played this one last night whenever the tournament opened up. And right now it was minus 13, so it does look like that will qualify first as well. And so for you guys who are playing without the type of firepower that I have on one of my main accounts, let me show you how we roll through this one. So very simple. It's going to be similar approaches, just different club strengths, right? So for this one, guys, with the extra mile 6, and, I didn't want to use a berserker. I just wanted to use, a ball that I think a lot of you guys will have. I'm going to line up here with a full right spin, a couple bars of top spin with a navigator. I'm going to move my yellow ring to the right rough line, as you can see right there. And again, that's just to find consistency, right? To land at the same spot every single time. That way, shot number 2 is always the same in each round. I use 1/2 of curl to the right. Take a normal shot with no overpower. And we get a nice roll to the top of the fairway here. It's too close for comfort, so you're going to see me use less top spin on my next playthrough. Because if we get a little bit more wind, even if it's like 0.2 more, we're going to roll into the rough. And obviously, we don't want to take our rough shot with our second shot. This shot here is with a thorn. I love playing the thorn. I like getting that distance on my drive because it puts me at pretty much minimum distance of my thorn, which makes your ring adjustment at minimum distance, so you don't have to go between mid and mid, anything like that. Pretty much play it exactly. Minimum distance. I pretty much line up directly at the pin, using a little bit of backspin to control my ball. And you'll see I was able to eagle hole 1 on both accounts. So, one account I nearly drove green, making my second shot easier with the wedge. This one, I just laid up on the fairway, which you're going to see most opponents do, and take my short iron shot for an eagle. So regardless of what kind of clubs you have, that is an eagle opportunity on hole 1. Here we go, hole number 2 again, which is a par 3. Remember, it's played at 10% elevation. And I decided to use my grizzly on this hole. I will not do this moving forward. I'm actually going to use the backbone, which is what most of you guys will have at a pretty good level, I would assume, at this point in the game. But I would just use a backbone on this shot, guys. Again, I'm going to go with a lot of backspin. I'm going to aim directly at the pin. I do think we're going to find some hole-in-ones on this one as I progress throughout the next couple rounds. But you can use whatever iron you're comfortable with. Just know the biggest thing is this one's played at 20% elevation. I just came in way too hot here. Not a good shot, so I'm going to use the backbone to control my ball a little bit more moving forward on this account. So hole number 3 is going to be a par 5 again. And this is going to be the one that has the funnel. So remember that funnel is there. So pretty much the same as you saw in my first playthrough is I'm going to line my yellow ring up here on this left-hand side of the rough. And then same thing, full left spin, a little bit of backspin to make sure I don't roll into the rough. Because again, guys, this drive, you do not need to smash. You can do a power slice drive if you want to. But I actually find that taking the second shot with a Viper or a Sniper is going to allow you to find that funnel, which is going to give you a better opportunity, in my opinion, at an albatross, even being further away from the hole, than it is to try to find the funnel, with one of your irons. So not even 300 yards on this par 5. If you don't have the Sniper, use your Viper. Either way, it's not going to matter. You can find the funnel with either club. And as long as you hit fairway on your drive, you're going to easily make it to the green in 2, so you do not need to gamble on your drive at all. So you can see me, I'm wiggling around. I'm trying to find that funnel again to where the end of my ball guideline is just directly in the cup. So it's right there. You can see that as I move my target, the end of my tip there of the ball guideline doesn't move. That's how you know when you found the funnel. The only thing I don't like here is I am on the right-hand side of the cup. I would like to aim this one directly into the middle of the cup with the funnel. And as you can see, that cost me the albatross there. I need to be directly in the middle, and that's going to be an easy albatross opportunity. Hole number 4. Again, this is my least favorite hole, but just make sure you're playing this one at 10% elevation. And I went with the Grizzly again, which I think I'm going to scratch. Probably going to go with the backbone again on this account. I've never been a fan of this club. I've only recently started playing it just because of the ball guideline. But I like the Goliath better. Maybe just because I've been playing with the Goliath for longer. And the backbone. But you see I put my ball guideline directly into the pin. 10% elevation in this scenario is somewhere between minimum and mid distance of my Grizzly. And I write down what I do. So like if I adjust that shot 3.2 rings, I write that down on a little notebook to see, what I need to do next time. So next time, I might play that one. If I was going to use the Grizzly again, I might set it up the exact same way, but just play 15% elevation, which is just going to make me pull my target more to the right, because you can see I missed to the left. So elevation you can use, like that. So this hole is played at 10%, but you can see I played it directly to the cup and I still missed left. Well, that means the green rolls from right to left. So what I could do is I could just adjust my ball guideline, or I could just add more elevation to the shot, which is going to make me pull my rings more to the right, which will get me more in line with the cup. So, that's just a little tip for you guys. Now we'll head on to hole number 5, which again, remember the drive is played at 10% elevation. Shot number 2 is played at 0% elevation. And again, you don't need a home run on this one, okay? All you need to do is just take a simple shot. Last time you saw me play with a Katana. This time I'm showing you guys you can play with the Quasar. Really, you just need the side spin to the left is what I like. So I pretty much go full side spin to the left. I use, like 2.5 bars of top spin. And I'm just looking to adjust at 10% elevation. Medium distance of my driver. No overpower. Just take a regular shot with about half of a bar of left curl. All we're trying to do is get to the middle of the fairway and left. That's it. We don't want to go push up to the top of the fairway and get behind those trees. But you're going to see here, 295 yards, a very simple approach to the green in 2 shots. Now, if you have a Viper, use your Viper. If you have a Sniper, use your Sniper. Either way, you're definitely getting to the green in 2, as long as you kind of hit that drive just like I did there. But you can see here's a level 7 Sniper. I don't have a lot of top spin on it. You can see me adjust my club out to see where I'm going to roll. And, I overpowered quite a bit here just to make sure that I make it to the green. But on this green here, it slopes down. So you're going to get a good roll right there. See where it goes all the way down? And that's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to lay up to the hole. But this is an easy eagle if you don't overcomplicate the drive. Hole number 6 is the one that we can drive to the green on. So here we have an extra mile 6. You know, on my other account, I have an extra mile 8. But you can see even 2 levels behind. As long as you kind of wiggle around here, you know, use that full right spin. Use yourself like 2.5, 3 bars of backspin, and just wiggle around until you get onto the fringe or onto the green with your ball guideline. You're going to adjust 10% elevation on this drive. A normal shot with, you know, like a half of a bar of right curl. And you can see on this one, I came in nice and easy, rolled onto the fringe for a very simple chip in for an extra eagle. So we're going to eagle that par 4. Hole 6, 10%. I'm using this stupid grizzly again. Don't use it. Use your backbone. I'm going to go with backbone in the next round on probably every single shot on this account. As I just hate everything about this grizzly. It's probably just me. And I know people love using it. I know it's got great accuracy. I know it has a great ball guideline. And probably where I suck at it is I just don't use it enough to know how I roll every time after the shot like I do my Goliath. So like my Goliath, I know when I hit it, I know how to have ball control with it. I know how it's going to roll. I just haven't used the grizzly enough to know. This is a really bad shot. Clearly, I needed to use a lot more backspin. So that just kind of gives you an idea. But either way, you know, that's a very simple chip in to get the birdie. Now, we're moving on to hole number 8. So remember, guys, on hole number 8, 2 things. 10% elevation on both shots. And remember that this little small fairway that you're going to land on here, this thing rolls fast. I decided to use a Titan. It was my first playthrough. I switched to a Katana whenever I noticed that I was easily going to be able to make this drive no problem. But you can see here I'm lining up with backspin and right spin. And look how much room I have left on the fairway to the rough. I used 1 bar of backspin. I took just a normal shot. And I still rolled from fairway to the rough. So don't be afraid to use more backspin, guys. Use at least 2.5 bars minimum to avoid that type of issue. But regardless, you know, you can see the shot path here. Shot number 2 was with the Nirvana onto the green. Shot number 3 was the birdie shot. So I don't need to show you that. It's very simple. And then hole number 9. Again, I played this one on both accounts with the quarterback. 10% elevation on the first shot. And I use a Titan on both. But you can see that I line up in the same area. This one has a quarterback 8. My other account has a maxed out quarterback. Either way, full left spin. You know, about 3 bars of top spin. And I adjust at 10% elevation. You can see my ball guidelines going directly into the sand there. So I adjust at the 10% elevation. My ball guideline is being disrupted by the trees. And again, if you're comfortable with it, a ton of curl and purposely hit great left. And you see that we get a good swing and an awesome roll onto the fairway. If you don't like that shot, if you're like, oh man, I might really screw that up and I'm not good at the timing, then just take the approach into the trees and let your ball fall onto the fairway. That is a very consistent approach. I'm just a lot more comfortable with that shot than I am doing it the other way. Shot number 2 is going to be played minus 10% elevation. So remember, this shot is uphill. And this is kind of the advantage of having 2 accounts, because remember, I played this one first, and you can see that I'm using, a healthy amount of topspin. My ball guideline isn't fully developed with a level 7 sniper. You can also take this shot with a Viper, but with the tailwind and my top spin that I used, you can just see I'm coming in way wrong here. So I fall back down, boom, into there. So just watch that shot a couple times, and you can see where I went wrong. But obviously I learned from it, because on my second attempt through this, I was able to figure that one out. So shot number 3, I had to shoot from the sand. I didn't make it. Shot number 4 was my birdie putt. So this par 5, I only picked up the birdie on. I'm going to learn from that shot, and I ended up at minus 13. Had I eagled this one like I'm supposed to, it's a minus 14. But either way, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe.